Hey, kumusta bookmates? I know we haven't been uploading to this YouTube channel in a while. We promise to upload some more, but over this past weekend in San Francisco, we had a screening with the San Francisco Public Library for the film Alimuom, and then we had a sit down with Keith Sicat, and we were joined by the Faces Org and Jaina from San Francisco Public Library, and also Hazmat from the film Augmented Reality. Really cool conversation, and hope you guys enjoy. What's up, everyone? Welcome to our live Q&A with Keith Sicat, the writer and director of Alimuom. You're joined by Angelo from Hot Tropiks and Jaina from the San Francisco Public Library. And yeah, so we finally got a chance to shave the film. It was so much craziness that we decided to get everybody live on IG Live because we also had a stream, or we also aired the film a couple of months ago in Long Beach, and they also had some questions. So I told them like, "Hey, come on, jump on the live," so everyone could ask Keith. But yeah, I just wanted to do a quick intro, and then just wanted to say thank you so much to Jaina for making this happen. Did you want to say a little bit something?
Yeah, I just wanted to pitch the Filipino American Center here at the San Francisco Public Library. We're the only Philam center in the United States that's in a public library, and we have the largest collection of Filipino materials in any public library.
Wow. Speaking of, we need to get for more Filipino. But Jan, did you know that Ali Muam started from a comic book?
I did not know that.
Yeah. I'm
And
happy
I've
you
been
have the
trying.
collection.
Yeah, I have them all. I've been trying to get like Keith. I was like, Keith, I know they exist. And then and Keith has also been to it. I guess like let's get you guys just want to jump right into it right now, and then
Yeah, sure.
we'll wait for some people to jump on. But other than that, at least we could get it going. Yeah, Keith, you wanted to give a little bit of a background about yourself and what inspired the film?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, Jana, thanks for having the public library jump into this because I know you guys have been supporting, Filipino literature and Filipino events for a long time. I actually got to visit you guys a number of years back when you had the literary festival, so I know exactly. It's
Oh,
yeah, yeah. So I was actually there. I actually shot material for a documentary at the library. So that was
wow.
really really cool.
Which
So thanks for that.
which Phil Book Fest was that? What
Uh,
year? Do you remember what year that was?
oh, it was a while ago.
While
It was quite a
ago.
while
Okay.
ago. But the neat thing was I remember. I mean, just to nerd out a little bit. The footage I was interviewing for was about Carlos Bulosan and Jose Garcia Villa. So it
Mm-hmm.
was really kind of nice to kind of reconnect with you guys in this way with a different kind of film, not a documentary, a sci-fi film. But thanks so much for the opportunity. Um,
Yeah, no, it was a great film. I really enjoyed watching it when I had the chance to. So thanks for sharing it with us.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, Angela, in terms of your question, so I guess the seed of this began as a comic book. I'll tell you the real first seed though. I had a good buddy who is actually an archaeologist. He's Pinoy, and he was talking about it many years ago. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be going to Antarctica, right, for the summer." I'm like, "Why? You're Pinoy. Why would you do that? Why would you spend your summer in the coldest place in the planet?" Yeah, but it'll be awesome. And the thing was that he thought he was going to be like the only Pinoy there, right? He was
Yeah.
going to be really excited. And he arrives in Antarctica, and he sees like dozens of Pinoys there. He goes, "Oh, there's a lot of
I
us,
think
right?"
I know this trip.
Right? It's in
Yeah.
and I remember he was asking. I mean, it was an
Wait.
astonishing thing to see, right?
Just so I know.
So
That was
you
when we
know
were coming up with Hot
exactly.
Tropiks.
Yeah, yeah. Hot
I know
Tropiks
this
in
trip.
McMurdo Station. No, totally.
But no, yeah.
But it was funny to see, right? There are Pinoys in McMurdo Station. Uh,
We're everywhere, though.
I
That's
know
what I've learned.
we're
We're
everywhere, but that was just a funny thing to think about. So I remember like thinking, well, you know what? If we're in the farthest reaches of the planet, during the hard months too, right? During the dark months, and the fact that I mean historically too, remember the first guy to circumnavigate the globe wasn't really Magellan; it was this Filipino slave Enrique, right? So I'm like, you know
right.
what? If that's been the case for 500 plus years, then quite possibly could be the case 500 years hence. And so that's how it began. So in fact, the comic book, it facetiously is entitled OFW for Outer Space Filipino Workers. So that's actually the germ of this. Exactly. So what happens if you saw the film, it opens with some text and they actually mention that term, right? So that's actually the germination of it. What happened was that in the comics it's taking place, in outer space. But I remember I had a lot of people asking me, so what's so bad happening on Earth that people got to go, right? And so I was like, oh, that's a good question. And so I answered it with this film Alimuom. That's how it got birthed, basically.
Yeah, so that's well, we need to put that comic book out. You see, you have people that are asking for it already in the comments. Me and Keith are gonna work on
Yeah, yeah.
that.
Don't worry, guys.
Okay,
We'll make it happen.
I guess like how I found out about this was through the author Renato.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, yeah.
what's
Mm-hmm.
his name? What's
Trunkellino.
Renato's last? What
Trunkellino.
was it? No,
Trunkellino.
Renato. Yeah, yeah, Renato Trefilino. So he wrote basically. I went to a talk because my business partner Rexy, he's the writer of Maharlika, and we were trying to figure out like why isn't there more Pinoy sci-fi out there? And we kind of went to Renato's talk because he had just put out his book called A Fate of a Distant Future,
Hmm.
and then he has mentioning like he's like I got so inspired because there was this film called Alimuom, and I was like, what is this film? And then I was like, wait a minute, I already know about this because of OFW, because of Outer Space Filipino Workers, which I read on Pen Lab back in the day.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like this whole. I was like, wow, this is whole crazy thing. I'm like, and then like for me, just to find out about it when I was living in the Philippines, when I got to America, I was like, yo, have you guys heard about this film? And then like I mean, San Francisco actually showed it like what was that, like 10 years ago or something
Maybe
almost.
not 10, but yeah, maybe
It
like
was,
6 years ago or so. Yeah.
yeah, it was a
Yeah.
little while ago.
Yeah, but it was like one of those things where it was just like, yo, this is like one of the there's a Pinoy sci-fi scene out there, and it's like like we got to share it with the world. Anyways, that's why I got excited about this, and then when we finally got a chance to meet, I got so excited to like we got to start re-showing this movie to everyone. Let me see. I think we covered a bunch of the background, the comics. I guess let's get through some of the things. I know Jana, you had some questions about
Mhm.
the film, right? What
Yeah.
did you want to? Yeah, what did you want to ask Keith about?
Well, basically, I noticed some parallels to what's going on in the real world now. It's in the movie. And like, how does it feel to kind of see that happening in real life? Like, in terms of like corporations owning so much of, um, like, I guess, resources.
Well, I'll tell you what's interesting is that, like, because I also do a lot of documentaries, right? In fact, a lot of the story is kind of based on stuff that happened to us in the recent history, like in the 70s. Okay. In fact, I was so happy that when we premiered the film, some of the older people in the cinema came up to me like, "Oh my gosh, I totally see the lines are connecting from what happened, 40 plus years ago to today, right?" What was kind
Hmm.
of creepy was that because we made the film um, before the pandemic. So what was really uncanny was like, for example, the scenes where how everyone's walking around with gas masks and things. Um, that was really disturbing. That right before the pandemic, we had that volcano explode, and everyone was walking around, Ortigas and stuff in
Oh,
masks. It was
Taal.
really kind of, yeah, from
Yeah,
Taal, right? It
yeah,
was kind of
I
like really
remember.
bizarre. Like, okay, that's really strange. And then when the pandemic hit, of course, everyone started communicating online. So this is like Zoom and everything, kind of birthed during that time, right? So it's kind of interesting how we were kind of projecting that in the film in terms of like the technology too. Like you have this Zoom kind of like conversations. So those are kind of uncanny. In terms of what you're talking about, in terms of the privatization of a lot of things, right? That's something I've been observing for quite a long time. And before, when I was a small kid in the '80s, that was kind of the go-to thing of like it was seen as a kind of golden goose, right? And then you realize that the kind of swaths of collateral damage that it ensues, right, is quite extensive. And what's ironic is that even though people seem to know about it, the train seems to keep on moving that direction, and no one can stop it now. It's like this behemoth that keeps on going, right? So in a way, it's a caution. I'm hoping that a lot of the issues that were brought up in the film are what do you call it? Are still, I mean, sadly they're relevant, but in a way, hopefully they remain cautions for everybody, right? On multiple levels.
It's Face Solidarity. They're one of the environmental groups that partnered with us.
Oh,
Hi.
hi there.
So yeah, I invited them. Why don't you tell us a little? Sorry to interrupt a little bit. What you call it? But I just wanted to have them up here because they're actually talking about. They're actually along the lines of what your film is about. So yeah, they can join the conversation. And you guys want to introduce yourselves real quick? Or are you too shy?
Oh, can you hear us?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Yes.
We're laughing. Hello.
Hi, I'm with Faces.
Hi, I'm Mary Rose with Faces, and then also on Faces Advisory Board.
I'm Angela. I love ants.
This film is very Faces crew. Oh my God. Our new favorite song is
Mr. Foggy in Space.
Foggy in Space.
Yes, radioactive Sago project in the house.
Okay, we're gonna.
Before you jump off, can you tell them a little bit about Faces and what you guys do?
Faces is a Filipino American Coalition for Environmental Solidarity. We've been around for 25 years. We're a transnational environmental justice organization based here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And then our partners in the Philippines work on various environmental justice issues. And so our big campaign right now, we've done like in the past bases cleanup, climate change issues. And currently we are working with the Protect Verde Island Passage campaign in Batangas because, as in the film, accelerating climate change where we can't breathe clean air is part of what these companies are trying to do in Batangas to set up petrochemical industries, including gas-fired power plants. And so we are helping to protect communities and our planet and our oceans through the Protect VIP campaign.
Hey, good job.
Wow. Thanks for all your work, guys. I mean, we really need you. Thanks so much for your advocacy.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're like Diwata and oh my God, the scene with the the Rose Wars.
But
Oh yeah,
I want to be part of that. I'm Mary Rose, so I'm like naturally gonna be part of that crew.
yeah. You gotta have your kampilan ready.
did you know?
I do
Did you
Kali
know there's a
martial arts.
whole?
I'm ready.
No, there's a
Yes.
whole universe of them. This
I'll be in the sequel, please.
this is the prequel. Actually,
Yeah.
there is kind of a sort of a sequel that Keith, you just attended Annecy, which is one of the largest animation festivals in the world. Do you want to tell them about what's going on with Iwa?
Yeah, sure. So we had the privilege last year we were the only Filipino project to present an Annecy. And the project we presented is in the same universe as Alimuom. So if Alimuom took place on Earth, Iwa is the title. Iwa takes place in space. So it's actually an outer space Filipino worker. It's actually a woman who's trying, of course, to work hard in a dangerous place to raise her kid because they got no money back home, right? Then things go wrong. So that's that story. So that's in the pipeline, but it's a fully animated feature. So that's a big challenge right now. But we were so fortunate to present it in France last year. So send us your good vibes so we get that thing rolling, and we can get that done too. Yeah, we need all that awesome juju. So send it over. All right. Yeah, we need that stuff.
No, do you guys have any questions for Keith?
Oh, are they still here?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
still, but they're on mute. I think you guys
Oh,
muted yourselves. But no worries. How do you- Okay. No, I don't know how you. Yeah, you guys muted yourselves. You have to unmute yourself. Okay. Well, if you guys want to jump down and jump back,
There
there
you
you go. We can hear
go.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, are we
Yep.
back?
Yeah.
Okay. Questions. There was just so many fun mimicry between who's in faces and the work that we do. We have such like foodies and like and agricultural people and like environmental defenders that there was that to see kind of our spirit in this film. Was super cool. And then there was such intrigue from the kinky club scene to Rose
We were
Award.
just talking about that.
I know,
That's our
we're so
mutual.
creative.
That's our
yeah.
mutual friend. But that's our friend Jo. I didn't know that Keith knew Joyanne. And I used to own a bunch of nightclubs in Manila. And Joyanne, the girl that was the exotic dancer, she has a company called Manila Burlesque. And they used to do like I was like, is that but I didn't recognize her because of all the makeup. And I was like, Keith, was that Joyanne? But yeah, it's so funny. That's a mutual. We have a lot of mutual friends in this film, so I was kind of like, kind of geeked out over it.
So much good stuff. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's part of our culture. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't have a cyberpunk movie without a bar scene, right? It's kind of like,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely not. Yeah.
it's a missed opportunity if you don't do it.
Yeah, so, Keith, what's your current thoughts on the and the sci-fi or general filmmaking scene right now in the Philippines? Like, what's your like? Is there anything cool that you see coming out that you're excited
Well,
for? Anything that you think changes that you want to see
no,
happen? Yeah, what's
it's
going
it's
on?
really it's really exciting here because I know in the last few years, I think the indie scene's kind of really expanding a lot in the sense that I think well, it'd be almost 2 years now. The first Filipino film to actually it didn't quite make it, but it got listed in Variety to almost make the Oscars. Was actually a science fiction animated indie film called Iti Mapupukao, which translates to The Missing. Um, it's amazing because it was again, it's an indie film. It was for Cinemalaya, right? Very kind of low budget, gritty, scrappy little movie. And after 30 plus years of trying to get noticed by the Oscars, it's this one that almost made it in. So that tells me everything, right? Like okay, we're onto something. The future is quite open, and if people are open to experience these kind of new mediums or new ways to express, right? Then we all benefit from it. So it's very exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah, I'm super excited that like Jaina, like I'm really excited that that you jumped on this. And I mean even over here, I feel like there's sort of like a brand new rebirth or not like a renaissance that's going on right now where where a lot of the younger Filipinos are really getting into like media from the Philippines. There's
Hmm.
like yeah, there was this giant event out here called Barrio Entertainment. The headliners it
Oh,
wasn't the young.
yeah.
It wasn't like the young kids. Like, yeah, there were the guap dads, but everybody came because VST was headlining,
Oh
and
wow.
like, all of Manila turned out to go see VST, and it was like old, young, Mexican, white, black, and you're like, we got to go see. So it's like this. There's these things that are happening, and they just launched the MIBF or the not MIBF. There's the Metro Manila Film Festival, MMFF.
Oh yeah,
Is that what it is?
yeah. Well, it happens
Yeah,
here in the Christmas time, but there's
yeah.
another one there, right? Yeah,
They just launched MIFF here in San Diego. So like I'm really excited to see like how this like cross-cultural exchange where it's like media from the Philippines is blending in with Filipino American media and just Filipino media globally. It's all just kind of getting a lot of recognition right now.
yeah. The
So
more the
it's
merrier, you know.
cool.
Like it's a good thing when everyone shares, right? And it shows you. I mean, the world is small, and what's great is that hopefully, when people talk to each other, that's when good
Oh,
ideas happen, right?
we got See I Don't Care Productions. He's an amazing filmmaker, guys.
Of course,
Wait, can you
Matt. I know
jump
you.
on? Oh, you get
Oh,
yeah, you guys know each other for sure.
yeah. Of
Oh my God.
course,
Yes.
of course.
Okay, I invite Connection. Anyways,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he's based in the Bay Area and he's down in Stanford, but he's making amazing sci-fi cyberpunk films also.
And he DJs too, right? I've seen your DJ
Really?
shows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Turn on.
yeah. There we
Awesome.
go.
Hey guys, how's it
Mr.
going?
Nat,
Hi.
how are you?
Excellent. Good to see you, Keith. Good to see you, Andrew. How's everyone? We had the screening. You guys have a screening over at the library?
Yeah,
We
how did
did.
it
We
go,
did.
dude?
Excellent, man. That's awesome, man. Alimuom, man. It's been a minute, man. But I was always really happy to present that film when I was screening with Another Hole in the Head during the pandemic, and
Yeah.
it's a classic, man. I'm so glad that you guys had an opportunity to screen it there today at the SF library.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. I mean, it was because of you we had our first like cyber screening, you know what I mean? It was very we're living in the cyberpunk present, right? So that's kind of cool.
Right, right.
Yeah,
What's everybody? What's the vibe here? Is that are you accepting questions for your film? Is that
yeah,
what's going on?
that's exactly it. Because I remember I had a lot of questions. Jenna had some questions. I was like, Keith, if we're gonna do this, you got to jump up and answer questions. You got a question, bro?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd love you to like just dissect like the genesis of the project, because I know that it started off on a topic of farming, and the movie clearly doesn't have a lot of farming, but it has farming involved in it, and it deals with the post-apocalyptic Manila, Philippines, when we don't have vegetation. So, I mean, why don't you break that down for us?
Yeah, so this is the importance of going to parties. I literally went to an event with my wife, and it just so happened, like out of sheer luck, the guy who sat next to me is the godfather of Filipino organic farming. His name is Hil Carandang. And so, me being nerdy, I started asking him questions like, hey, so what if? And within 20 minutes, we went from, food scarcity to like peace and order situations. I'm like, I got a movie. I got a movie in my head already because of this. And literally because of that, that's really what kind of crystallized everything. Like I like in speaking with him just for that dinner, right? And posing all these what if questions. All of a sudden, like if I'm following the train of thought, right, the jelly bean trail that he's making for me, like, and to project what the worst case scenario or what a possible worst case scenario could be, it's like this is it, right? And I was very fortunate because the film is produced by a advocacy film festival called To Farm, and so and typically they're doing very social realist film set in the actual farms in the actual very very real world things. And I was so happy and shocked actually that they were actually open to something this crazy because as you said, there's barely any green in the film, right? We kind of took away all the green, everything that's like nice verdant colors we extracted from the film. But they understood that they were like, no, but this is exactly what the festival is about because it's talking about these really, really important agricultural issues. So I'm so happy that they were open enough to understand that, even if it was far away from anything they're used to in terms of like its aesthetics. But they got it, and them getting it really helped out. So that was really, really nice to see. And I'm forever thankful that the committee there said, they said like, yeah, this is a Two Farm film, right? Even if it's so far out.
It speaks volumes about the genre of science fiction, especially when we talk about Filipino futurism,
Yeah.
and it's like how it can generate like the kind of topics and meaningful discussions that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's so good about this is that this really given me an opportunity. Like, usually we're kind of ghettoized, like, you're in the arts, you're in the this. What's been really nice is that ever since this film came out, I've been able to talk a lot with science students, like STEM students. Like literally, they'll be inviting you. I'm like, I'm with actual scientists now. Like I feel very, very, I'm like a tourist, right? I'm like, I don't know why I'm here. All you guys have PhDs. I'm wearing the wrong jacket to this party, kind of thing. But it's really kind
Right.
of cool and really, really nice because I think what happens is, again, good ideas happen when people start talking to each other and kind of, jamming. And that's what I realized too, was that we got a lot of help from like the physics department at the University of the Philippines. And what was really kind of neat to see when visiting them was like, oh my gosh, your process, our outputs might be completely different. Like we're making films and they're making, science projects, right? But in terms of the spirit of creativity and like their exploratory prototyping of things, it's kind of the same kind of creative, we're still working in the same creative ether, right?
Right.
Just the output's different. But like a lot of it, I felt a lot of kinship with the scientists there in a way. So it's kind of nice to see that we're not as ghettoized as we should be, right? If we talk to each other, cool things can happen. And hopefully we can avert some of these horrific things that are, on the horizon.
And also another thing is, I mean, I know you said that you didn't really feel like you belonged on it, but one of the things I feel like it's ignored in the whole STEM field is the letter A to make the word STEAM. Because without the arts to help pack into what's important about science and development, it's like you're clearly trying to illustrate what we should be, where the project, how we should project ourselves forward in futurism. You see the new one?
Yeah, and what's really neat was that when I talked to a lot of the STEM students recently, I talked to them a few weeks ago, a lot of them got in through like reading science fiction novels or watching science fiction movies. I'm like, oh, see, there we go. We're all the same. We just took a different path, but we got the same, the same trigger points, right? That set us on our way. We're kind of similar. So there's a lot of shared history and shared baseline, right? So which is kind of cool to know.
Okay, I got a question on the filmmaking side. Like, okay, so this is the most like heavily like special effects film that I've seen or film I've seen. Like, I know there was a bunch of challenges. How did you guys pull off all these special effects? And like, what were the other challenges that you had
Oh
while making this film?
man, man, I don't know how we pulled it off. Actually, I'm still amazed. Because I mean, here's the crazy thing. Remember, we're a small, scrappy indie film. We have a tiny budget, and we had, I think, in the end, 225 visual effects shots, right? The good news is because I have a bunch of Jedi ninjas in the VFX team, and we've actually been trying to figure out how to do it about a year before. Like even before we were greenlit, we're like, okay, if we get the chance, how do we solve these problems, right? So I was very fortunate to have that team there because they were kind of primed already. But the challenge was literally they had to work. They were working a month once we got greenlit. Literally the day we got greenlit, like, guys, get to work because we have no time. And they literally began working a month before we shot anything. So imagine they like literally like out of the gate. They're just sprinting because they knew how much they had to do. So a month before we shot anything, in fact, the first thing we shot was for them in that landscape, that futuristic desert landscape. We actually went to the Lahar location and we shot that at 5 a.m. And that was the very first shot. It was for them. They got that plate, and so what people maybe not understand is that a lot of the VFX actually has real elements in it, right? People might think it's all CG and stuff. Like we didn't have time, so we're shooting. We didn't have time, guys. So we were literally shooting a lot of elements. So what was cool was that when they got the footage, like what you see there, it's almost what it looked like because it has that kind of purple hue, right? The soil. That's what it looked like because it was 5 a.m. Like it was, the sun hadn't really come up
It was
yet,
like
and so it had this really,
hour.
yeah, it was a pre-magic hour, and so it's kind of weird. Like, oh, let's try really, really alien already. So your job is done, guys. Just whack the CG on. But they were really working hard. So imagine they did 225 VFX shots in roughly 3.5 months. That's crazy. And we got the last, I think, VFX shots, I think 3 days before our premiere. so I'm talking about cutting it close, man. It's like in those old movies when you see the guy running down, Broadway with a videotape, to air the show.
Was it a DVD or was it a
USB? No, here's we're just like throwing data, we're throwing zeros and ones, but like but it was pretty exciting. So, but kudos to them. I would never be able to do this without that team. You know, the guys from Gravitate, they really stepped up and did something amazing. You know, and I've been working with them for a long time. They really, every time we have a project, they really step up to the plate and just kind of, you know, rock it. So it's awesome. So big
That's
thanks
awesome.
to them.
Jana, do you have any more questions?
I wanted to know more about the music, the score for the film. Can you tell
Oh,
us a little bit about that? And also the Mr. Poggy song. I
yeah.
think we all want to know
Oh
about
man, I
that.
love that track.
So this is how it's great. So our composer is actually one of the members of Radioactive Solo Project, right? And so we had worked with them for other films before, and for this film, like, you know what, I gotta hit him up again because it was our last project was so much fun to do. It was actually for Sari's film, and I figured, you know what, that was a period piece set in the 40s and 50s. So why don't we do the opposite? Let's challenge and go the other way. Let's shoot like a few hundred years in the future. And it was really fun to do. Our process is really interesting. I would actually talk about because we had no time. Usually, what happens is you shoot the film, you edit it, and then you slap the score on, right? For us, it was really like, you know what? I would love it actually, and for me to get in the zone too, if you can compose some of the music already, and then instead of like you putting it after the fact, we'll actually use that as inspiration for when we attack the scenes. So that's what we did. We actually literally went in. I told we talked about a few key kind of themes and cues that we
Did
wanted.
you guys go to like Lord's little playroom?
No, we didn't invade Lord's space, but it was but we did get a lot of stuff even before we shot, which is really cool. And it was actually them that suggested, hey, like we have. I didn't even ask, right? Because I was just like kind of like hoping this would work out, you know, because I knew, of course, I know the song "Mr. Bogate's Space," right?
Yeah.
And I was so excited when he said, "Hey, like, you want me to see if we can get that song?" And it was so perfect. Like I didn't have to ask for it. I was kind of just holding it in my heart, you know, and quietly wishing upon a star. And there we go. All of a sudden, it said, let's see if we can get it in there. And the guys approved, right? The guy said, "Yeah, go use it." And that was a fantastic thing because having that in the film gave it this extra layer, which only that song could do because it is funny, it is tongue in cheek, but like in the context of the story, right? It's kind of clashing in all these kind of different ways, right? In terms of what it meant. So that was kind of a really fun thing to do. So that's how the music happened. Forever thankful to those guys. They're really fun. They're really cool. But that was really awesome to be a part of and have them be in the movie. That was like a complete dream come true.
Well, what you call it? Before we close out, I got one more follow-up question for you. Actually, let me ask that question first, and then can you tell them about your film after we close out?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, no, I mean, is it Matt or has Matt, right? Yeah, okay, yeah, but I want them to hear about. So let me get Keith your closing thing, and then before we cut out, Matt can drop his film because his film's
Oh yeah, sure.
going crazy in the
I'll talk
festival
about
circuit
it.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
talk about it, Matt. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay, wait, let me just ask you real
Oh,
quick, Keith, what advice do you have for emerging Filipino storytellers around the world right now?
just do it. Don't wait for permission. Really, don't wait for permission because no one's gonna give it to you. I mean, that was the kind of the realization. No one's gonna do your story except you. And once you kind of understand that and accept that and be like, okay, fine, then it's time to roll up your sleeves. Don't take no for an answer, and just find a way. I mean, here, my way to think about it is emancipate yourself. Really, emancipate yourself and just claim it. You know what? I'm a filmmaker. I'm just gonna do it, come hell or high water, because that's how it works. All the guys that you see that are kicking butt everywhere, they just kind of accept that. You know what? I'm gonna make a film. I'm a filmmaker now, and I'm just gonna do it. And that's how you got to do it. And you see it really, really working a lot now. I don't know. I mean, this is kind of off topic, but if you've seen Sinners, that's my example. Sinners from Ryan Coogler. There's all these Pinoys working there. The cinematographer's
Yeah,
half
they
Pinay.
just reached out to me about something.
Yeah, she's awesome,
The
right?
Pinoy
Imagine,
team.
imagine the first
Yeah,
IMAX film shot by not just a woman, she's half
Nice.
Pinay.
She
And
also held
then
an IMAX
yeah,
handheld.
yeah, I know. She worked out probably for that,
Yeah.
right? It's like a
Like,
heavy machine,
I don't even know
you
if
know?
I could do it. I work out, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it was awesome that she did it, and even the actress, right? Haley Stanfield's half Pinoy as well. So
Oh,
part,
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Okay.
She is,
yeah. So
yeah.
she is right. So once you realize, and of course Ryan Coogler is a great example for African American storytellers. You know, this new generation. So my point is like, look, no one is going to tell these stories except us.
Mhm.
So stop waiting for someone to come in to save the day. You save the day. So emancipate yourself.
Nice.
That's real talk, man. Thank you. I love that.
And then I'm gonna segue over to Matt, who is also a filmmaker here, and a Filipino American filmmaker here in the U.S. who has a film that's tearing it up in the festival scene. And it's also a sci-fi slash horror
Yeah,
film.
it's a film called Augmented. It's about augmented reality. It's about a haunted video game. And so it's. I think we're really at a really strange convergence of technology right now, where reality and what actually most of the stuff I'm seeing like come out used to be science fiction. Almost nothing feels like science fiction anymore. I can't even tell the
It's social
difference.
commentary now.
Yeah, I mean, no,
It's current
I
events
mean,
now.
I mean, all science fiction or horror films really are some of our greatest barometers, our greatest like measurements of what our greatest fears and what are projecting onto it with current technologies. And I wanted to make a film about that. So essentially, like imagine if like AR technology allowed us to see into the spirit world, like some kind, like you have wear special glasses that can make you see the spirit world. But you have to also question whether it's real or not, because we are fabricating realities with augmented technology. And of course, being a Filipino director, I have kind of a Filipino spin on it. Of course, the lead actor in my film is a Filipino student at Stanford. Actually, he's a graduate, and he was actually in the engineering department. So we talk about the convergence of engineering and art. So I always say, don't forget the A in STEM, make it STEAM.
Yeah.
Right, it's so important that we temper our technology right now with art, so we have some way to understand. I mean, right now, even as a filmmaker, I think we're kind of starting to have a little bit of an existential crisis, as we also see that films could just be generated with just words alone and not even go out with a camera, because we're dealing with AI technology. So we
AI.
have a lot
Mm-hmm.
as a global community, not just Filipinos, but just as a global community. How do we see the arts progressing? And as Filipinos, and we talk about Filipino futurism,
Yeah.
it's like, where do we go with that?
Yeah.
But not to get too much into the philosophical conversation. My film is currently playing in Tokyo Liftoff. It's next going to be screened in Colombia. I'm hoping to get the film go to the Philippines. I would love to screen there. It picked up an award in the Milwaukee Horror Film Fest, and it just
Nice.
screened at Chicago this past weekend. So it's been going places, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. I'm developing a feature-length film called Paranorma, which is based on that. So I'm expanding the world of that.
Have you
I know
have you guys seen it, Keith? Have you
No,
seen
not
Augmented
yet.
Reality yet?
Not yet. Not
I
yet. So
will send you guys personally the link. Okay,
It's
I'll
yeah,
send you all
yeah.
the link.
Please connect because
awesome.
I liked it. I
I
enjoyed it
can't
a
post
lot.
it publicly yet, but I can send you guys a link to watch it. Um, and of course, if you haven't seen Vampiraya, my Aswang movie that was shot here entirely in the San Francisco Bay Area, that's
What?
it's on various platforms like Tubi. I don't know what it is in the Philippines or other countries. I know it's translated to many different languages, so it's out in the world. I know people in Germany said they've seen it, and I was like, wow, cool.
That title, man. That title. To this day, Vampiraya. I love that title.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. A big up to my friends here. They're hanging out with me.
Oh.
My dear friends.
Hey,
That's cool.
Hi.
it's a sunny day
he
in the
did
Bay
drone
Area.
photography in my film, so he
Amazing.
was my drone operator in that movie in Augmented. So,
Awesome.
so I want
Cool.
to give some shout outs to them hanging out with me here today, which our post gym hangout.
Cool. Well, I wanted to be respectful of Keith's time because we woke him up. It's very early on a Sunday morning.
Oh
If
my
Isn't
God.
it like
anybody has
6 a.m.?
Ano oras sa Pilipinas?
Something.
What time is it?
Yeah, it's
it's
yeah,
probably seven now.
yeah.
7:15 right now. But yeah, if anybody has any closing words or anything, I'm gonna sign off, guys. Like,
Yeah.
Jaina, do you want to say anything to sign up, or
No, I'm
we all good?
good. Yeah.
All right, so
All
Pinoy
right.
Sci-Fi, everyone, let's pressure Keith. Let's get this deal done. I want to publish his graphic novel here.
Yeah.
Right
So
on.
let's get this is where outer space Filipino workers came from. So this
Yeah.
is where the genesis of Alimuom,
Yeah.
and let's get it out here.
Yeah.
All
Let's
right,
make it
guys.
happen. All
Well,
right,
Keith,
guys.
thank you
Thanks
so
so
much.
much.
Right.
Jada,
I'll
thank
send
you
my
so much for
information to you guys,
organizing.
all right?
All right.
Good
Yeah.
seeing you, Keith. Good
Thanks,
seeing you. Thanks
everyone.
again for
See you
inviting
guys
me into
later.
this
Bye.
Bye
conversation.
bye.